Salute. Good afternoon. Good evening, wherever you are in the world. Freedom marchers, freedom family, freedom lovers, and freedom fighters. Snapzilla Gorilla here. Hitting y'all with this quick live stream. Because, I mean, this is pretty cut and dry, right? Francisco Rodriguez, the man who popped dirty in his last fight. The man who popped dirty in his last fight had a meeting with the WBC, the World Boxing Council, and basically what's going to happen, from what I hear, shout out to Blue Blood Sports TV for breaking this, is that even though he popped dirty, he's going to get a pass from the WBC. Because according to him, the PEDS he got popped for, it was by accident. He didn't mean to do it. It doesn't matter that he is the 7th fighter out of the Reynoso camp to pop dirty. No, it was an accident. And basically what's going to happen is they're not going to give him any suspension. They're going to give him I believe a 12-month probationary period. And they're going to order a rematch against his opponent, whose name I don't even fucking know. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I don't know who he fought. I don't know the guy. I know that they're going to order a rematch between him and Francisco Rodriguez, and he's not going to be punished at all whatsoever. This probationary period is straight up bullshit. Okay? What we got going on is they're giving fighters who pop dirty passes. They're letting it go. They don't really give a shit that the fighters pop dirty. These guys don't care. The sanctioning bodies, the commissions, whose job it is to hand out punishment for violating the rules for popping dirty, they don't really give a shit at all whatsoever. They don't care. At the end of the day, if they cared, they would go ahead and have like a mandatory minimum for any fighter that popped dirty. Mandatory minimum. There would be no meeting, and there would be no, oh, well, he said he was sorry. He said it was an accident. No, there would be, if they cared, there would be none of that. There would be no excuses. If you can't prove contamination, if you can't prove it was an accident, I don't give a fuck about you talking about and saying, oh, well, it was an accident, I didn't mean to do it. No, I don't want to hear that shit. No. 2-year suspension, automatic. If you cannot prove contamination, if you can't prove tampering, if you can't prove any of that shit, I don't want to hear nothing about no goddamn sorry. I don't want to hear nothing about no accidents. No. You just need to be suspended, or depending on what you use and depending on the damage that occurred to your opponent, you might even need to be banned from the sport on a professional level. Just an outright ban. Get out of the sport. You're no good for it. But what's happening? Oh, well, we're going to give these guys a pass. He said he was sorry. What precedent does this set? Not a good one. You're basically telling boxers that if you pop dirty, all you got to do is say that you're sorry and you didn't mean to do it. And you're still able to fight on probation. What is the probation going to do? Well, all you got to do is cycle off, take off for a year, right? If they give you a 12-month suspension or a 12-month probation, right? maybe in your next fight, you just don't take the PEDs. You don't pop dirty. You served your 12 months on that probation. Right back to what you were doing before, but more carefully this time, right? Is that the idea? This is not the first time the WBC has made concessions for Reynoso fighters. They did the same thing with Canelo and Oscar Valdez. Canelo Alvarez popped dirty for clenbuterol. Canelo Alvarez said, "Oh well, I ate tainted meat. I ate meat with clenbuterol in it." So what did they do? They raised the allowable limit. They raised the allowable limit for Mexicans on the amount of clenbuterol they can have in their system, because the meat might have clenbuterol in it. They made concessions for Canelo. Shelton, salute to you. Brother Shelton, LDBC or nothing reloaded. Good afternoon. This is what we got going on, y'all. And I blame a lot of different people. I blame fighters. I blame commentators. I blame YouTubers that are cavalier, that were so cavalier about Ryan Garcia being a drug cheat, that was so cavalier about Canelo Alvarez popping dirty, right? That was so cavalier about Michelle Rivera popping dirty. Oh, well, you know, Frank Martin beat him. These are bad habits we're building right now in the sport of boxing. Shelton says you'd have to eat a whole cow to test positive from the meat. Well, exactly. But no one really cares about that, right? They don't care about the science. They just are making concessions, right? The WBC made concessions for Canelo. And so when Ryan Garcia pops dirty against Devin Haney, the Devin Haney hate is so real. Well, everybody wanted to give Ryan Garcia a pass. Everybody. And this is why I don't fuck with these people. This is why I pull my support from any YouTuber that makes excuses for Ryan Garcia. Like Knockoff Pity Pat. Like Claymore Rain. These people. If I hear you or see you talking about, you know, PED users in a way where, oh, well, we don't really want to, it's not really that bad, or, like Floyd Schofield said, what did he say? If you have enough skill, it shouldn't matter if your opponent is on PEDs. That type of shit, no, I'm done. I'm going to shit on you. I'm going to do content about you. I'm going to call your ass out. It is what it is. Dead Mike, salute to you. Stephen X, salute, peace. Don't worry about what that blue thing is. It's something working men use. It's a tool. See, y'all wonder why I'm so vehemently against these people that espouse the bullshit, that spread these narratives, that try to downplay PED usage in the sport of boxing. Because this is what we get. The WBC sees no reason to treat fucking Rodriguez, whatever his name is, any harsher. Fernando Rodriguez, whatever his name is. Why should they even care to suspend him if y'all don't fucking care? We're not holding these people's feet to the fire. Very few of us are, if we are. Not enough to move the needle in that direction. Not enough to move the needle in the right direction towards a clean sport. We don't want a clean sport. Why? Because Devin wants a clean sport. It's that fucking serious. Why? Because, well, we don't want Canelo to be punished. We want to make concessions for him so he can continue to use clenbuterol. Shambles. Straight shambles. And y'all wonder why I go in. And I will never stop. I won't ever stop. That's why I went on AM Sports Media. Talking about Austrian don't do nothing. Right? Blaming Devin for Ryan Garcia being a drug cheat. When you guys blame Ryan Garcia, when you say, oh, well, Ryan Garcia being on PEDS was the least reason Devin lost. When you say stupid, silly, dumbass shit like that, when you go in on Devin for suing Ryan Garcia for being a drug cheat, and you call him a bitch for that, and you lie and you say he sued Ryan Garcia for fighting, oh yeah, I'm on. Hey, I'm going in. I'm on your head top. Because that's how we should carry it with anybody, with anyone that makes it okay to be a drug cheat. Shelton, yeah, he's my resident troll. Dead Mike is my resident troll. He always comes through and trolls. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, he's just that's just how he is. He's one of the holdovers from the Minor Mouse era that comes through and spies on me to keep tabs on me for Minor Mouse. It's okay though. I mean, it is what it is. The bottom line is this. The WBC are pieces of shit. They should not exist as an organization in the sport of boxing, because what they've just done is tell the world, it's okay if you're a drug cheat. All you got to do is meet with us and say it was an accident. And if you're convincing enough, we'll just give you probation. What a fucking joke. What a fucking joke. All because a black fighter wants to keep the sport clean. All because we want to make sure our favorites can continue to box. Because we suffer from cult of personality disorder. And so this is what the sanctioning bodies see. They see this. They see people riding for Ryan Garcia. They see people riding for Canelo Alvarez. They see people riding for Eddie Reynoso and his fighters. They see that people don't really care. And guess what happens? Things like this. But you won't hear these clowns talking about this shit. You won't hear knockoff Pity Pat. You won't hear Manager Cooney. You won't hear AM Sports Media. They won't talk about this shit. They won't bring this up. They don't care about it. The only reason they care about PEDs in the sport of boxing is because Devin has something to do with it. Because Devin was drug cheated. This shit is dangerous. Boxing is a dangerous sport to begin with. But now, what incentive does any fighter have not to be on PEDs now? If they're in the WBC rankings. Wow, I mean, what incentive? What incentive do they have? What encouragement? What punishment? What should stop them from using PEDs if, for whatever the fuck his name is, Rodriguez, can get away with popping dirty? What's to stop fighters in the future that fight in the WBC? What's to stop them from wanting to use PEDs? They're going to see this and they're going to say, oh shit, nothing's really going to happen. And you make the sport that much more dangerous. But there's no outcry. Where's the outcry? Where are the loud voices? Where are the people with so much influence, with the tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of subscribers? Not just Blue Blood, not just the LDBC. Where's everybody else at? The ones that care so much about Devin's association with Vada and Devin's associations with Victor Conti. Y'all concerned about that. But when a motherfucker actually pops dirty and receives no level of punishment, y'all are nowhere to be found. Y'all don't give a hot fuck about none of that. And this is why I cook y'all asses. This is why I make my videos. See, y'all think I make my videos against y'all or my live streams because you're a Tank fan and because I'm a Devin knob gobbler. No. It's because you're on the wrong side of history with this. You're on the wrong side of history. When they look at the history of this shit, when they look at the history behind Devin and others like Devin in the sport of boxing, trying to clean up the sport, and they receive so much resistance from so many people that have so much influence in the sport of boxing, you're going to be on the wrong side of that. Ty Hammonds Jr., salute to you. They really do want Devin out the game. Shelton says, oh, you ain't got to bop him. Shelton. He says, man, if Devin Haney, Deontay Wilder, EJ, or Bud test positive, oh, it would be over. They would, man, everybody would be calling for 365, 24/7 drug testing. There will be no question. No questions asked. If those individuals pop dirty, shit, we wouldn't have to say nothing. No, they would just do it. Everybody. The sanctioning bodies, the commissions, all over the place. Yeah. The hate is that real. So, it's a sad state of affairs in the sport of boxing when the sanctioning bodies can just decide that it's okay for someone to pop dirty as long as they say it was an accident. Well, did he prove contamination? Did he prove it was an accident? How do you prove that? Was there there couldn't have been tampering, right? Because you're saying it's an accident. So if it's an accident, there would be no tampering. If there were tampering, it would be no accident because someone would have deliberately tampered with your sample. So I'm calling bullshit on this. And I think the WBC knows it's bullshit. They just don't want to lay down any punishment against the Reynoso fighter. But like Shelton said, if it was Devin, EJ, Wilder, or Bud, that would be a different story. That would be a different story. But anyway, that's all I got for now, y'all. Just letting y'all know, man, like, they don't take PED usage in the sport of boxing, y'all. They don't. The people that should, the people that, the entities and the parties and the individuals that should care and that should move towards making changes for a cleaner sport, they don't really care. They don't want the sport clean. They don't need it clean. They don't care if it's clean or not. Especially depending on who the fighter is. They don't really give a shit. Sunshine, good morning to you, Queen. Or good afternoon. It's probably morning where you are. Good morning to you. I saw you in there earlier today. Knocking people out the box. Sniping motherfuckers. From your blind. Yes, exactly, Sunshine. It's all about the money. And if the fans don't care, why should they care? Because the fans still going to pay. Regardless of who pops dirty or not. If it's their favorite fighter, they're not going to care. Just like they didn't care when Canelo popped dirty. Just like they didn't care when Ryan Garcia popped dirty. Crazy shit, man. But anyway, let me get up in here. I got to get in this office, get some shit done. But I'm going to holler at y'all later, man. Yeah, so just so y'all know, the WBC is not going to suspend Fernando Rodriguez for popping dirty. They're going to put him on probation, and they're not going to do no contest. They're not going to reverse the win. No, they're going to order a rematch. They're going to make this guy fight the drug cheat again. Sunshine says that's why every single one of my instructors left. It makes sense. I mean, it's bullshit, right? Boxing is in shambles, y'all. But hopefully one day we can right the ship and do what's right in the sport of boxing. But anyway, thank y'all for coming through. Thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you for sharing and liking and commenting. Thank you, Sunshine, Stephen X, Brother Shelton, for coming through. Dead Mike, I appreciate y'all. Much love, like, share, subscribe. And let's keep PED usage out of the sport of boxing, man. Much love, like, share, subscribe. And we're going to keep marching forward toward freedom. Lost some credible boxers, yeah? Yeah, we lost some incredible boxers, absolutely. Peace.